So don't suck and get better.
Yeah.
Stop being sucky and improve.
Yeah, that's true.
You suck. That's why you're not making money.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to the MC Fortune podcast. I'm Zach Martin. I'm here with my buddy, my
Taylor
business
Cobb.
partner.
How's it going, man?
And my friend, dude.
Yeah.
You're my friend.
Yeah, man.
Taylor, happy to be here with you, man. This is always an exciting time for us to be able to come on here and just, talk about what we do, how we can help people, maybe provide some insight, some strategy. And we really just, we want to be able to bring people value, collaborate over compete, and flat out just give without expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk to you about some specific things today, and I wanted to get into the weeds a little bit, man. Like there's some broad topics that we've brought up, and we need to get into specifics, dude. We got to get into some of the nitty gritty because there's some stuff out there, but I want to just give it away.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about that with you. I also wanted to talk about, right now, if anyone's been wholesaling the last 2-3 years, what happened in the market in 2021, or really in 2022 is when the party was over.
Yeah.
Was that interest rates shot up in June of 2022. People were not able to sell their flips because they bought them too high, expecting to sell them high. They're putting lipstick on a pig. There was just like a lot of issues that were going on. And so we've had to kind of like weather the storm. We've had to adjust our comps. We've had to factor in a smaller buyer pool. We've had to factor in the fact that people were like super picky on the things they were going to take.
Yep.
Which, justifiably, because they're going to have a 7% interest rate on a house that's, going to cost them an arm and a leg. So they had to be picky. But where are we at right now, man? I think things have shifted.
Yeah. So there was like almost like a reset in a way where it was like, okay, the veterans they're sticking around and they're still doing it. And now
a lot of people got out.
Yep. And now we're getting into a point where there's rumors and things are happening with the interest rates. And now we've got buyers
just the rumor.
Hand. Yeah, just the rumor.
Just the rumor. They haven't dropped.
Yep.
The Fed announced that they're expecting a few decreases likely in 2024.
Yep.
And like you were saying, a lot of buyers have raised their hand and said, look, man, I'm ready to go again. I'm not going to be overly picky anymore.
Yep.
And I want to get moving. Do you have anything?
Yep.
So what that means for us as wholesalers, as people that fix and flip as well, as buyers, when we buy opportunities, is that it's going to make it a lot easier for us to sell the inventory, to sell the contracts, and to get into things that make sense. And that's good all the way around.
Yep.
It's good for realtors. It's good for wholesalers. It's good for sellers who need to sell.
Yep.
It's good for the flippers and anyone that's going to get a payment on the back end of a transaction like that. So we're moving in the right direction. I think now is a perfect time to jump in, learn about this. If you're interested in investment real estate, this is a very specialized sort of niche thing. But I really think it's an incredible avenue to take to build wealth and to quit your day job if you're not liking what you're doing and you want some freedom. We're the guys to connect with. Talk about that because that's exactly what we did. So I think the hardest thing for a wholesaler or for anyone that's getting into like, hey, I want to fix and flip, whatever it is, like how do you find? This was a question we had, man. This is like one of our biggest questions when we got into real estate. How am I going to find these properties and these opportunities?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, because you're thinking about all of the things, right? Well, are they in my backyard? Are they in a different state?
Right.
What do they look like? Are they nice? Are they not nice? Right. So there's all these different things that go into real estate that and what makes a good deal. Do people want properties that are already fixed up and they look beautiful? Do people want properties that are only in Florida or only major cities? So that's a lot to think about.
How do I determine where they're going to need the property? What do I even say? Like, I think when you get into this in a high level, Honestly, it's just like there's paralysis by analysis because you're taking in so much information. There's so many people giving advice and so many things you can start and do. But here's what I'm going to get into for a minute. I want to get into some marketing strategies on how we do this. How you can start, with no money, with some money, whatever your situation is.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to start with limited resources. It's completely doable. It's what we did, right? So that first way is like, if I were starting out fresh, I'd say go connect with some wholesalers in your market who are actually doing well.
Yeah.
They're doing consistent deals. They've done several transactions. They can walk you through their process, how they handle finding opportunities, how they dispo them, how they close them. Our market obviously is Detroit and Metro Detroit, and we can do deals all through Texas and really all over, but those are our main markets. So we can be a resource for those sort of things. But being able to work with them does a couple of things for you. Number one, they can give you some ideas on how you can get started either with them or, by partnering with them in some capacity. The other thing is, like, if you can bring them something and you don't know where you need to lock it up at, you don't know necessarily what to say, but it looks like a pretty good opportunity. I just did this the other day. They can help you.
They'll give you numbers.
They're
going to say what it's going to sell for.
They can tell you what ARV is. They can tell you where they can move it to a buyer. It makes you a lot more credible when you're having a conversation, can give a real offer without wasting someone's time.
Yeah. I was going to say the other thing that a lot of people don't think about is it seems like a lot of people learn and they think that, well, it's just cut and dry, or it's just a certain way. It's 70% ARV minus repairs. Well, when you go into a market and you talk to a wholesaler that's in that market, some of that stuff goes out the window and they say, here's what the buyers want it for in this area. This is why, right?
So you can you can jump ahead and say, I'm going to do some market research. But here's the thing. When you're starting out, you don't even know what you're researching. I mean, you can go in and look at, this is where buyers are picking up properties that are kind of outdated and light rehabs and selling them. This is where they're picking up properties that need a lot of work and reselling them. And then you can get an idea, or you can just flat out ask the guy that's doing the business in those areas, and he can tell you, he or she can tell you what that looks like. So I think with wholesalers, it doesn't mean, here's what I want to be clear on, okay? It does not mean you grab a wholesaler's deal and market it without their permission. That's called daisy chaining. It's technically illegal. We don't want to do that. It's a big deal.
Right.
It's not something that we want to promote. Now, if you're finding an acquisition person who doesn't have any buyers and they're not like a major wholesaler, and they're like, hey, do you know anyone that might have a buyer? That's called a micro flip. You can get it to the dispo wholesaler who's connected to the buyers, and you can get involved in that transaction. That's completely understandable. But what happens is if there's too many hands involved along the way, it's a problem. So that's a way there. I just want to be very clear. Like, that's not what we're advising. We're advising go connect with wholesalers, get to know who's doing well in your market, how they can help you, and then see what you can bring them to work on with them.
Yeah.
Right?
And by the way, if they're doing a lot of business with other wholesalers, they're going to be happy to help you look at the deal,
Absolutely.
get you a number, help you move it, because everybody's winning, you know, at that point.
And so there's a few other ways that I would say, like, by the way, I want everyone to understand, I'm not going to jump out here and tell you to go and spend money to start if you have limited resources. I'm going to give you the ways where you can do this with no cost or very little cost and get some opportunities and kind of learn what's going on, okay? So the other way is through agent outreach or MLS outreach. Agent outreach is simply just connecting with an agent who is in your area, telling them specifically what type of properties you're looking for, and then when they get sent to you, you're underwriting them, making an offer, and locking it up. Free way to do it, right? Totally doable. We do a lot of that ourselves. MLS outreach is someone who is selling something on the MLS. You can go on Zillow or whatever, and you can see that it's outdated. It's going to go to a cash buyer more than likely. It's going to need a lot of work. Something's going on, and you're going to have a conversation. If you don't know what the offer needs to be, bring it to someone again that can help you. but then you're going to make an offer and you can move that to your buyers, right?
Right. Right.
Those are free ways. So, but tell us about, because Taylor, you kind of got us on the right direction here with the dispo side of things. And if people just have a different kind of personality, I know a guy in our private Astro group who is just killing it, but he started this way. He started finding buyers, understanding value, and putting the pieces together for people in major markets.
Right.
Incredible guy to work with. So this is a way you can start as well. But talk to people about the direct to buyer side and just building out the dispo portion of it as well.
Right. So the biggest thing is, and this actually, if you learn this part of it, whether you're talking to a dispo wholesaler or talking to a buyer directly, it will help you tremendously with your acquisitions, because the biggest thing that you need to find out when you're talking about buyers and building a list is you need to know what that gets them hungry.
Right.
What deals do they want? What areas do they want them in? What condition do they want them in? What kind of property? There's all these different things. And some of them have a really broad area and some of them have a very strict thing that they're looking for. And so if you can find those areas and find what they're looking for, now you know what to hunt for. That's like having, people talk about having targets and they're like, try to shoot a target with a blindfold on. It's not going to happen. You have no clue.
Absolutely.
So if you know what people are looking for in your market, these buyers are looking for this kind of property at this price. Now I can go out and find that property.
And you can also market to people who need that guy to connect the dots.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a very big thing. People don't have the confidence to call the buyers. I recommend you call them. I recommend you have a conversation with them. I don't think you get them all through Facebook and some of these other channels. I mean, a lot of them aren't going to be there. So if you can be that guy who has the connections and all you're doing is helping someone who has something here, right? You can be an effective wholesaler.
Absolutely.
It's called a disposition wholesaler. It's a really lucrative model because when you start doing your own contracts and you're having all these people work with you in that capacity, essentially you just scaled your business.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was connect with buyers. Is it easy? More, work than what I'm saying? Probably. I mean, it's skip tracing names. It's finding who this person is and it's having a conversation. It's just flat out what it is.
And you got to keep in mind too, right? Like you're cold calling millionaires is what you're doing in a way, right? It's not as cold as some cold calls you could say, but you're calling somebody out of the blue that bought a property in that area and saying, hey, I know you don't know me, right? But I see that you're buying properties in this area.
Absolutely.
I come across some and I'd like to send them to you if you're looking for more, right? And a lot of times they're very open to it. They're very nice, but they are successful for a reason. They're busy. They're very to the point, and they know what they want, and that's it, right? So they're going to be, a little bit tougher to deal with. So, and that's where the personalities come in, right? Some people are going to be better at calling agents or talking to sellers, and some people are going to be really good at dealing with buyers and, being strict and getting them what they want and being timely and, doing all these things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's another strategy where we do a lot of that here personally. We're really big on the dispo side of it. That was not the case at first. Took some time and some confidence and some understanding for us, but it's a great strategy. The last way is the direct to seller approach.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to fly through this because I think a lot of people, if you don't have any resources, I don't think you start this way.
No.
Okay. I flat out don't think you do. But you can cold call and skip trace lists. You can get opportunities just from having those conversations. You can hire VAs to do that. You can bring on team members that are open to doing some of that. You can spend money on direct mail, pay-per-click, Facebook ads. You can put money into marketing and drum up opportunities. The deals are usually deeper. They are going to get you bigger assignment fees and some of that, but it comes at a cost. And the other thing is you need some proof of concept and some freaking understanding before you jump into spending that kind of money. But that's another strategy. And so, one thing that we do really well, I think it's just through our experience of being in the insurance industry and meeting people, but there's a really big importance of networking and getting to know people in your market, getting to know your buyers, sitting down in person, getting on a phone call with them, get on a call with them if nothing else, right?
Right.
And so talk to everyone, man, about how we go about that. What's our strategy?
So absolutely. Yeah. So what we do, and we've decided, and you don't have to be there. We've wholesaled a lot virtually, but we're right here in Michigan. We're an hour and a half, 2 hours from our market, Detroit. And so we've decided in our business, it's a very, very lucrative thing to be able to drive down and set up 2 or 3 appointments, just coffee with wholesalers, with agents, with buyers, lunch, dinner, right? And just meet them, because the thing is, you can text back and forth about a deal or get on a phone call about a deal, but when you sit in front of somebody and learn their business, it builds a way different relationship.
2 things with that, right? Number one, in any business, anything you do, where you're trying to separate yourself from the competition, you need 2 things, and you're always going to need them. Never's going to change. You need trust and you need credibility. So the trust part of it is hard to do over a text. Okay? It's very hard to do that over a text. The credibility part of it comes with time. It just does. It comes with experience.
Well,
we were just some of that stuff and understanding.
We were just talking about this the other day. Like, when we get our buyers, we don't really get a great relationship with them until we've done a couple things.
Absolutely.
Right? Done a couple deals. We've talked about a couple. Maybe we've met them.
You're just a guy.
They probably don't even have your number saved.
Yeah. So, I mean, that stuff is crucial in my mind. If you want to make this a transactional business, you can totally spend buku bucks. You can throw it at the wall and see what sticks. But if you want to build a scalable business with predictable income and consistency, guess what's going to happen?
Right.
You need to get to know people. You need to get respected, and people need to work with you in a capacity that is consistent as well, right? So that's what we do, and the one of the ways that we separated ourselves to start getting some of those conversations is we shared our W's, man.
Yeah.
Just shared our W's, make sure our face was on it, tell people how we can help them. We never post that in a way where it's like, look how good I'm doing. I'm just so freaking jacked. I want everyone to see this.
Right.
I'm not that guy. You're not that guy. That's not how we do things.
No.
But
we're there to motivate people.
Can I help you in some way?
Yep.
Is there something I can do for you? And by the way, here's the credibility part of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people on Facebook groups and private groups, what they'll do, and it drives me crazy, honestly, it's like every 5 people I come across, 4 of them do this. It's like, I've got starving buyers. I need to get them fed. They're begging me for deals.
Prove it.
But here's the thing, man. I know a lot of those people. I know some of these people, like, personally have called me, and they've never done a deal.
Yeah.
Stop pretending and show me the freaking proof. So the credibility part of it, like I said, just comes with experience and time, and it comes with getting some wins, but you need to share your wins. That's how we've organically grown.
And we've talked about a lot the winners you get, which we want to get around people who are new too, right? We help a lot of people who are new. But if you want to talk about getting around the winners, when you prove yourself, that's when they're going to reach out, because they're not reaching out to you if they don't know that you're actually winning.
Why would they?
They wouldn't.
It's just not going to make sense for them. So
those are the people we're meeting with on a weekly basis. We're getting lunch with them. And by the way, how many times have we gone and bought somebody a $200 lunch? And then the next week we get a deal done with them and we make $8,000.
Because they're coming across things, but they don't know you that well.
No.
I mean, they don't. How do I know you're not going to take this and do something weird,
right?
Or try and snake my deal, or any of this other crap that happens in the industry? So I wanted to transition for a minute because we really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of some of how to get started and what to do to progress and scale your business. And I think there's steps, and like I was saying here, the steps are not to go out and start blowing money before you know what you're doing. I think that's a bad idea. It's going to hurt you, and you're going to give up. But you need to understand what a wholesale deal is, right? So talk to us about it, man. What makes a wholesale deal actually a deal?
Right. So you're gonna be looking for something that most of the time it's going to need work. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to it's a situation where this property just can't sell retail for whatever reason,
right?
Or it probably won't. it's going to go to a cash buyer or
Absolutely.
a buyer on creative, but it's an investor. At the end of the day, it's an investor. It's an investment property for whatever reason. Maybe they're upside down on their house. That would turn it into a creative,
likely.
right? So, you know, they owe 180, but they can only sell it for 160 because they bought it at
That's
the
a
top of the
problem.
market.
Yep.
What are we going to do now? We're gonna write a check at closing. So now we've got to get somebody that's going to come in here and get into a situation with them where they maybe go in with a down payment and monthly to get them out of that situation.
Or they take over the
Right?
payments.
What about, you know, you had a tenant, you bought a rental, you had a tenant in there, the tenant leaves and you go in and it's in disrepair.
Oh my God.
There's spray paint on the walls, drywall miss it, right? That's a
the
cash
landlord's
buyer.
tired of it.
Yep.
The landlord's over it.
So a wholesale deal is a property that needs to go to an investor at a discount. It's not at retail, right?
No.
We're not selling it at retail.
as
We're
is.
selling it, and we're selling it at a wholesale price.
Right.
It's just
and
like
wholesale
Costco.
price, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Wholesale price literally just means as is price that I can make money on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the reality of the matter is, if those are the only people willing to grab those houses and see potential in it, because a retail buyer with interest rates still kind of high does not want to grab that and say, ooh, let's take 40 grand right now. We just put all this money down, right? Got a new job. Things are pretty tight. Let's take 40 grand and let's put that into this house today.
By the way, I got 3 kids.
I got 3 kids.
I'm moving in there.
I got 1 bathroom, dude.
Yep.
I'm not updating the bathroom with 3 kids and a wife.
No.
Okay. It's not going to happen.
No.
So like you have to think through, is it a lowball offer when they're coming in with this? No, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Absolutely.
the truth kind of sucks sometimes, but no one's asking you to go in and fix it up.
Mm-hmm.
No one's telling you to sit through and wait for my financing guy at the bank to approve it, because he's not. He's not gonna approve it.
Yeah.
No one's saying to fix the roof and go through and deal with this. It's been a headache.
Yep.
I have a solution, but I need it at a discount for a cash buyer because I do this for a business. I'm not attached to it emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how I can help you.
Yep. And I want to bring up something that might get a little bit of a flack, but
Let's do it, dude. I need to get some flack.
Yeah. So people bring up all the time, right? People are thinking, well, what's the point of the wholesaler? Why wouldn't a cash buyer just go get that deal?
Oh my God, dude.
Or
Yeah.
isn't it unethical for a wholesaler to make money on that deal? Well, here's
Yeah,
the
get
thing
real.
that people are not understanding. If an agent, especially let's talk on market for a second. If an agent lists the property at 200,000 and it's a cash deal all day at 120, no cash buyers. These are millionaires.
They're not calling you.
They're not calling it. They're looking at it for 1 second on
Not a
Zillow,
deal.
and they're like,
Pass.
"You're crazy."
Pass.
Pass.
That's what they all say.
They will not
Yeah.
call it. Now we will, right?
We will. We'll show empathy. Not
Yeah.
only will they not call it, but if they did call it, they'd be like, "You're
120
out
cash.
of your mind. I'll give you 120 cash. Take it right now, and that's it."
Yeah.
But that's kind of mean, right?
We're gonna
Maybe
explain
that's
it.
because they're busy.
Right.
Maybe they have a lot going on,
Right.
and they're not going to do that. So when you see things listed for a long time, here's what it indicates. It's a few things, and it's only a few things.
Mm-hmm.
It's occupied by a tenant, and if we're like in the city of Detroit, no one wants it. It's a nightmare to get them out. It's crazy. They've destroyed the house. Their squad haven't paid. The city of Detroit gives them like a lot of ways where they have benefits and we don't as the owner of that property. The other thing is it's got outside pictures, but I can't see what it looks like inside.
Yep. They won't call it.
I don't want to like go and drive over there. What if it's horrible in there and I waste my time? I got to have an idea what it looks like.
They won't even look.
The main reason though, let's just be honest. An agent or a seller, okay, it can be a seller. I know sellers expect to sell things too high. I get it. But it's listed astronomically high.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a lowballer. We're lowballers for offering a number that makes sense for every cash buyer.
Yep.
But that's not the way they see it. But here's the reality, and I'm just going to call this out. Set real freaking expectations with your clients.
Yeah.
If I'm doing your job,
I'm
I'm
not
telling them
listening there.
flat out.
Yep.
Here's the deal. A cash buyer who's going to have to take this because it's in bad shape, unless you want to put 40 into it today. is going to have to take it at this price.
Yep.
You're not getting anywhere near that. Now, I will list it, but I can't list it that high.
Yeah.
If you're not okay with that, do you need to sell this? Yes, I need to sell this. Okay. We can list it, but I can list it maybe 20 grand higher than what you're going to get and see what we can do. I cannot list this 120,000 high.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Because it's going to sit.
Two things with that though. It's going to sit, but they don't know. A lot of times the agent literally does not know how to, well, houses are selling for this much. They're fixed up.
Well, Zestimate.
Yeah. Right. Or, well, the client needs this much or he's not going to be. You have to set the right expectation. There was a lot of expired listings in the last 6 to 12 months, and a lot of that comes down to they couldn't get their number and they removed it. Okay? So set the right expectation. Don't be mad at me. I can give you what I can give you.
The other thing is, too, that we actually, it's funny because we just ran into this like last week. There's times where our wholesale offer is higher than cash buyers' prices. Well, how does that work?
Yeah.
I have a cash buyer. We had one last week. I have a cash buyer that'll take this deal at $95,000. Every other cash buyer came in at $80,000. So I can get it at $90,000, which is $10,000 more than most, and move it to this guy for $95,000, and everyone's happy,
Dude,
right?
You know what's so funny about this whole? You mentioned, well, isn't the wholesaler doing something wrong by making money on this situation? Who do I know that these realtors and you guys don't know?
A lot.
I know hundreds of cash buyers. We talk, we have conversations, and I know they'll take it for more than what I'm going to get it locked up for. And that's not coming out of your side. That's coming out of their profit.
They're paying me.
They're paying me for that because I went through the hassle of negotiating terms to get them in. I went through to get them at a price that works. I went through and did all the things that I had to do with you, which took a lot of time, energy, effort, all the things that make sense. And I put under contract. Of course, I'm going to have to get paid.
Right.
They know that's a business, but they're busy. Like you were saying, they can't spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day doing this. It's not a good use of their time. It's crazy.
Right.
I mean, they'll take it if it's packaged up and ready for them.
They refuse to. They won't do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's by the way, there's nothing wrong about, people need to understand this. There's nothing wrong about wholesaling and finding someone an opportunity. You're actually solving a problem for the seller that they were not going to be able to solve.
Yep.
Be real with them. Don't lie to them. Don't mislead them. Don't take advantage of them. You don't need a $70,000 assignment fee.
Right.
None of that. Like, really? You know?
Exactly. So you mentioned earlier too, we come in with a way of doing it versus a cash buyer. So how do we negotiate our wholesale deals versus other people who may get into arguments or it's not going to be as effective?
Well, number one, I was saying, like, we show empathy. Oh gosh, I'm in a tough situation, guys, but I cannot go below 220. Really? Let me find out. I mean, what's going on. You can't? No, I owe too much. Okay. Well, can I just level with you on what it would look like for a fix and flip? And so what we do in a nutshell is we understand where they're at, what's going on, and we just explain ourselves. I mean, literally, that's it.
Yeah.
But I know how to explain myself.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. On the retail market, when this is completely rehabbed, beautiful, and everyone and their mom wants to live here, it's probably going to go for $260.
Right.
Now, at that $260, here's another fact. I'm going to have closing costs and agent commissions. That's about 8 to 10%. Let's say 8%, right? Right there, I'm looking at, quite a bit off of the $260. I got to rehab this. I just eyeballing it. I'd have to walk in and do my due diligence. $45,000 likely. Roof needs work. It's inside. It's going to need a complete new flooring, cabinetry, kitchen and bath. Everything's going to have to be done.
Yep.
So on top of that, I've got private money or hard money. That's my problem, not yours, but it's a reality of the business, right?
Yep.
And I have to make enough on what I'm doing to make sense of it. It's just not worth the risk to me.
Yep.
So all that being said, I can't make this work for anything less than $140,000.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably not going to make sense for you, but I just wanted to explain it in case anything changes, because at the end of the day, I want you to have that option. I'm here for it.
Right.
By the way, if that doesn't work, I can't go up any higher than on cash. I just can't. I'm stuck there. What about maybe something where we come up with some terms and we can come up on the price, but I'm going to need some terms from you. Is that something you'd entertain?
Absolutely.
So what do I do here? What do we do? What are we good at?
We're pivoting.
We're good at doing that. And we're offering solutions to the problem. Now, what do a lot of buyers do? Because they're busy, like you said. It's not like they're rude. Yeah, I need it at 140. Well, all he heard was 140.
Yeah.
He didn't get that first 2-3 minutes
Right. Yeah.
why you need it at 140, and he's mad.
Yeah.
Or he's upset, and this is where you get the FUs and some of this stuff.
Right.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I'd be the same guy, right? But you just have to explain yourself. And when we're talking especially I think you do that with sellers at a level they get, kind of meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
But with an agent, you need to put it all on the table and be a professional to a
Let them
professional.
know. And by the way,
Yeah.
prove it to them, right? Look at this property that sold for 260. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So that we always have to get agreement and then break that down, and there's no arguing
Get
with
agreement.
it. How many agents have we explained that to, and they're like
Put their guard down.
I get it, right? So
Fully.
no, that's
yeah.
good.
And so now what do we do when this is just an everyday thing for us? Our guys bring us something, people we're working on we tell them why,
Yep.
give them an explanation. Here's where we're going to need it.
Yep.
And then what's next? Well, here's the business, guys. If you want to consistently close deals on the acquisition side,
Yep.
you need to follow up.
100%.
And all that is quite frankly, it can be a text, it can be a quick call, whatever you got to do. Hey, I know we talked about the property last week. Is there any change there? I'm looking at a few right now.
Yep.
No change. They're still trying to hold. No problem. I get it.
Yep.
And you're going to circle back, and you're
Yep.
literally going to be top of mind
Yep.
until one of two things happen. And what are those few things that we know are going to happen for sure?
They're going to take the offer, or they're going to take the listing down.
That's how it's going to work.
That's it.
Yeah, I can't accept it. I won't. Right? Not doing it. I need more. Not worth it to me. My reasons for doing this were X, Y, and Z. This isn't good. I totally respect that. I understand.
Yep.
Maybe there's a time where it does make sense. Maybe you decide to put some work into it. Maybe you wait until the market shifts. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to sell there right now. Or, which we see a lot, I'll take it. I accept.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're done.
And how many agents you can't trust that an agent or, whatever, an agent, a seller is going to keep you in mind that whole time. You can't trust that they're going to follow it up. So when it's your deal and it's your offer, you have to take responsibility for that offer. And that means you follow that up. You stay top of mind, because I can't tell you how many times we've come back and they're like, oh yeah, and then we end up getting it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with you. Now, here's the thing. What do I not want you guys to worry about following up on? Maybe you can. I mean, go ahead and check it out. But here's the reality. When you're on the phone call, you need to determine why are they doing what they're doing?
Yeah.
What is the reason for them selling? Don't flat out ask the agent or whoever, the seller, hey, why are you selling? I mean, you can, but sometimes with that, the guard goes up.
Right.
And they're not going to be honest. They don't trust you yet, and they're not going to give you a reason. But what about if you say something like, hey, I don't know how serious this is for you. I'm happy to go in and make you an offer. I just wanted to know what's going on. If we can come to terms on something, and this makes sense, how soon you looking to sell?
Right.
Oh, right away. I got to get out of here.
Right.
What does that indicate?
Motivation. Yep.
So we utilize that to state how hard we're going to follow up. How heavy are we going to follow up? What's that going to look like? Now, on the flip side, I'm in no rush. Honestly, I'm not that worried about it. If they don't sell for the 240, they're just not going to sell.
Right, and that's the other question too that we ask. We always ask that one. That I love that one. We also ask the agents, if they don't get their listing, the ask price, what are they going to do?
Are they going to take this thing down?
And if they're like, yeah, they're just going to keep it, well, they're not motivated.
So then
right?
what do we do on those? Well, I don't really waste my time on them because I don't think it's really right to do that to them.
No.
They're not in a position where they need to take what they want. This has to trade at.
And let's be honest, it probably is better for them if they can to hold it and put some work into it.
Yep.
Yep.
We're not taking advantage of people. We're not forcing a square peg into a round hole. It's not our business model.
No.
But follow up on the ones that have some motivation, guys. I'm telling you, there's a few ways that goes, and you can be at the top of that just by being top of mind and being a good person that cares and showing some empathy and some of that stuff. So let's funnel this through, right? How do we go about this? We get the contract, terms make sense, and we're figuring this thing out. I'm going to walk through this because I want everyone to hear, like, literally the process of wholesaling is actually very simple. What's tough with it is the intricacies of like how much, what the numbers need to be, and all the overcoming like understanding people in this business and agents when they bluff and some of this other stuff. But what do you do, right? You got it. Well, at this point, you have a couple options. A lot of people that are starting out, they're not going to have a lot of good buyers.
Right.
That takes time, that takes skill, that takes energy to scale that up and have a lot of good buyers where you can just freaking fire out something and sell it in a few days. So connect with someone ahead of time. I would just connect ahead of time. I would have this done. I wouldn't try posting this on Facebook and throwing it out to everyone and their mama.
No.
I would hit this ahead of time, and I would find someone that has good buyers, is responsive. You need dispo people who are responsive, guys. If they're not responding to you and it's taken them 2 days, walk away.
Find a different
I'm telling you
person.
the truth.
Yep.
If they're not getting back to you same day, then they're not going to prioritize your deal, and they're going to sit on that deal. They maybe haven't sent it out. It's 2-3 days in their inbox and haven't sent it out. So you need to get someone that can send it out for you. Now, how do you vet these dispo wholesalers?
Absolutely. You have to.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, I've been on the flip side of that. Okay. I've been on the side of that where I'm frustrating that I'm not getting updates. I'm mad that this still hasn't been sent out. And I lost earnest money a few times from these people. So take care of people. You make sure that someone's going to be on your side. They want you to win. They care about your situation. They've taken time to actually call you. Everyone's going to tell you, just send it to me when it's locked up. But are they willing to help you on the front end come up with a number? Are they willing to give you the time of day on the phone for some of the questions you have? Are they willing to jump on the phone with you and the seller or the agent and help you? How far are they willing to take it? Because I can tell you, the less vested they are in you, the less vested they are in your freaking deal.
It doesn't hurt them. What happens?
They don't care.
They don't lose DMD. They don't lose sleep over it, right?
It's not their problem. So you just have to understand.
And I think that comes down to what we talked about earlier, which is when you're on the flip side, why don't you guys go find the people who are posting the proof in these groups, right? Or who's doing the deals in your market? Get around those people again, because now you know.
They're vested financially in those groups if they're private. That's good. And again, guys, people will claim they can move everyone's deal and they've never done a deal.
Get proof.
Get proof. Hey, look, the best people that I've worked with, I'll tell you a couple things. And Brent Daniels says this. I love the guy. He's just phenomenal dude. He's just a giver. But he said the number one thing you can get from someone who's a professional is a quick responsiveness. Right? So if they're texting you back pretty much immediately, they're giving you feedback pretty quick based on their schedule, and they're always prioritizing getting through and responding no matter what. That's someone I'd take the time to work with every single time. So make sure they're responsive. Make sure that, make sure that they're willing to help you ahead of time with some things, right? If they're not willing to help you with questions, look over your contracts, make sure that you have things in order. Are they going to go out of their way to move it? I don't know that they will. I mean, it's fine for them to put it into an email blast and send it. But, be careful of that. Here's another thing I wanted to go over just really quick on the wholesaler side of this. You gotta really be careful that you're not sending this to tons and tons of wholesalers. Because here's what's going to happen. a lot of them are not talking with you. They're not getting permission for you for that deal. They're adding whatever amount of money they're adding to each deal.
Yep.
Most of them don't know how to underwrite it. And they're just sending it to everyone. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
It's out at different price points. And what does that do?
Discredits the deal. Yeah.
It discredits you and the deal.
Yep.
And that's not fair to you.
Right.
You worked hard on that. So even though it could be a good deal, that one thing of having out 7, 8 different price points screws that deal.
Yep.
So
We've
be
had that
careful of
happen, by the way.
We've had this is speaking of experience.
Yep. And it's, by the way, it's not only bad for you, but it's also a little bit disrespectful to that good wholesaler
Who worked on it.
Who worked on it, right?
Yeah.
You should give that person at least a couple days exclusivity for that deal before you go sending it out to a bunch of other people to look at.
Find people you can trust that care about you and will help you.
And we have, even to this day, we dispo a lot, but we have a couple people that we will send our deal to if we can't get it done.
Absolutely.
But we don't do that until it's been, maybe we check a couple days. If our guys aren't getting back to us, okay, I'm giving them full rights to it. They're going to get it done. And I'm going to trust that they're going to get it done.
Because they're good.
Because they're good.
And if they can't get it done, no one can.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, just understand, like, basically you're going to have a few people in your market where, like, if they're not getting traction, there's something else not that we don't know. We don't know something about it.
Right.
So just understand, like, maybe it's not a deal. And it's okay. Like, get some feedback from some buyers on why and take that back and use that.
And what's the other reason why we wouldn't want to go locking deals up before we bring in that experienced wholesaler to move the deal, right?
Because, you have to have an equitable interest in every single property.
Right.
And that has to be on a written contract.
Yeah.
So if you go and try and sell my car without contacting me and you're selling my car for more than what I would have sold it for or whatever, and we didn't have an agreement in place, you're doing something illegal.
Right.
It's wrong.
Which is why
a
a lot of these experienced wholesalers will ask to see the contracts a lot of times.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see the purchase agreement. Right?
It's so common.
And
is
the other
this your
thing-
deal?
Yep.
How common is that?
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
They got to know.
And if they're asking you those questions, by the way, they're probably professionals. Because we ask those questions.
Those are good. You want someone asking you those questions, by the way.
Yeah.
So no more. I don't want to go into too much on that, but I like, just be safe. Like, watch yourselves. You need to have an inspection period and make sure there's access. So an inspection period, 7 to 10 days, if it's a good deal, is going to do it. Try and make them business days if possible. Sometimes you got to be more competitive on your terms though and do less. Access is always going to be best to have a lockbox rather than scheduling appointments. If you have to schedule appointments, maybe try and open it up from 4 to 6 or something,
Right.
to get a lot of people in, so that someone misses and you're rescheduling it's a whole thing.
Yep.
So make access like as easy as possible. Vacant's always best with lockbox, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say someone walks it. Here's how it's going to work, right? Someone walks it. It's a good deal, like we thought, about the amount of work. I'm good, guys. I can take this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide them with a contract.
Yep.
It's a 1-page assignment contract. It's just going to state that we're taking our interest in the property, selling that interest to whoever that person is for this fee. And here's the terms of the assignment.
Yep.
You're going to put in EMD within 24 hours. You're going to, make sure to close on this date. All the terms of the contract, which you need to get them the purchase agreement because they need to know what they're being assigned, right?
Yep.
And then really from there, we get that to title. Title's already got the purchase agreement. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait out the rest of it. Maybe it's 7 days away. Maybe it's 2 weeks. Maybe it's longer. A lot of buyers will request a final walkthrough. It's a pretty common thing.
Yep.
We usually have that in our contracts. No big deal. Make sure everything wasn't stolen or scrapped, or someone came in and stole the water heater in the furnace, and stuff like that happens, right? And then the buyer is going to wire in funds from their bank or from their hard money lender, and the difference of whatever the hard money lender didn't cover. The escrow company or the title company is going to section out. They're going to pay the seller what the sellers do. They're going to pay, any liens on it that were due. And then whoever else is involved, the agent's going to get paid, and then the wholesalers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get a wire from title, goes right to your account. If
Most
you
of
do
the
it that
time,
way, if you
same
want to pick
day.
up a check, a lot of times same day,
Mm-hmm.
within business hours, and that's that,
Yep.
right? That's how easy it can be. Now, like I said, there's intricacies and there's some other things involved with it
Yep.
where you really need to get connected and understand it, because
Yeah.
you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to want to quit.
Yep.
You're going to think this isn't real, all
Yeah.
sorts of things.
And that reminds me too, you can even be a wholesaler where you understand all of these steps, but you need somebody who can help you with these things where you can get an experienced
Yeah.
wholesaler involved in those weeds.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. So let's say now we're at the point now where this just comes with time, right? You get to the point where you're doing deals consistently. You got a hang of it. You really understand this business, and you've done enough to kind of like, oh, I can do this like full time. I
Right.
can quit my job on this. I want to talk about the scaling thing, because I don't think that needs to take a lot of time.
No.
We scaled in a year. Okay, now we jumped in, did a lot. We were all over the place, but we did a lot
Right.
to do that. So how do we do it? Well, here's the big thing. Once you start getting wins, I mentioned earlier, trust and credibility have to be there.
Yep.
There's no better way, in my opinion, to get the credibility part and the trust than showing your wins and proving it in
Right.
your private Facebook groups. And it's not to brag. Again, the point of it is to do a few things. It's to inspire people that this is doable,
Yep.
your efforts are worth it, and you're really close.
Mm-hmm.
It's also to bring in the right people to work with you on a professional level.
Right.
And they just want to, subconsciously, people want to see that you're not full of crap.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
100%. Yeah.
I mean, every time you do something good and you get a deal and it's like, wow, that was awesome. Don't keep that to yourself.
No.
Don't keep that there. The other thing you can do as far as like building your brand and your credibility is you can offer to help people.
Yeah.
And so the value that we try to bring people is, let me help you with the numbers before it's locked up.
Yeah.
I'll look at it with you. I'll discuss, where I think it needs to be. I can offer, how I would approach the agent or seller with this.
Right.
I can tell you how I'd pivot if it's in pretty good shape, and maybe we can go creative. I can look over your contracts. I can make sure you're not signing something that's going to hurt you. No assignment, and know that, like, hang on, guys. You guys can get in trouble for this.
Right.
I can advise how you can go about doing this. I can make sure you get this to a title company who is actually going to take care of you and not be against you.
Yeah.
Title will screw your deal.
Yep.
All
Those
these
are-
things matter.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because how many times do we have new wholesalers bring us a deal? They say, I got it locked up here and I got it with this title company. And we're like,
That's not
it's too high, first of all.
Yes.
I would have told you to pick it up here. You're not moving it there. So now you got to cancel the contract. Hopefully you gave yourself an inspection period. Hopefully you're not going to lose EMD. And let's say you get it and you accidentally got it at the right price, and we can accidentally move it. But now
Awesome.
you've got different things in the contract that make it hard on us, or maybe you
No
got it with
access.
a title company that
Yep.
isn't wholesaler friendly.
Very likely.
There's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, and here's why. As far as like what I think people go about, like, not getting that to me sooner and locking it up too high already, and it's already to title, and it's like, hang on a minute. Why didn't you send this to me 3 days ago?
Right.
I could have advised you. I could have given you some insight. I could have told you, because I do a lot of deals in this area, that, look, man, you're missing something here. And maybe I could help negotiate. But here's why they do that. This industry, and a lot of industries really, but this one in particular, we have people who are dishonest and go around someone's back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they're literally terrified.
Yep.
Well, if I give that to you before I have an equitable interest, isn't it possible that you just go around my back, cut me out, and screw me?
Sure it is.
It is. But here's the problem with that. I have a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a reputation, and I will not let that happen.
Yeah, it'd have been.
And not just because of the reputation and myself, but I'm just not going to do that to somebody.
We have good morals. Yeah.
You need to have good morals, and you need to care about your reputation. Now, if someone wants to try and be just a nasty person and go around someone's back, and they're out there.
They're gonna. Yeah.
I've dealt with it, dude. It sucks.
They won't be around long,
but they don't make it.
Yeah.
And because they're thinking in a scarcity mindset, not abundance. It's why you see these live shows where someone posts an address and 50 people call it and give the same number because someone offered a buy number live. And it's like, listen, this is why people don't trust, and it's not going to work long term. No. So I will say this loud and proud, don't be one of those freaking people that goes in and sucker punches someone like that and steals their deal.
Yeah.
And you didn't have the freaking courage to call it in the first place or
to
find
make
out.
10 grand.
And you're never going to make it in this business.
You're going to lose. You're going to lose millions.
So don't suck and get better.
Yeah.
Stop being sucky and improve.
Yeah, that's true.
You suck. That's why you're not making money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I'm going to say that to people that need to hear it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just improve yourself. Now, what we would do is we would actually never do that to someone because I don't suck and I don't want to do that to someone.
Right.
And I hate dealing with crappy wholesalers like that.
Right.
So take it to someone like me that you can trust that is not in the business of effing you over.
Right.
And let me help you. Okay.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. I mentioned it's the funniest thing, right? I actually had a couple people that posted in one of the groups. I won't go into it too much, but oh man, I got these buyers. All these buyers are starving. Let me get this stuff to you. You guys send everything to me. I can move all of them.
Right.
And these are the same people that have reached out to me, and I know have not done a freaking deal.
Yeah.
Don't try to disguise yourself as something you're not, guys. You don't have to be that way. There is nothing wrong with a little humility. Mm-hmm. There is nothing wrong with sitting down and saying, hey, I actually am not at that place yet. I want to get there, but I don't know how to get a deal without being just being a liar, flat out liar to you guys. So you're not going to make it very far if you do that.
Right.
So show people. This is the thing for me. If you can show me the proof in the pudding, I'll believe you. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
I want to hear people talk about how they've worked with you. I want to see your wins. I want to see what you've done. If you got social media and you're showing it, I want to look at it.
Yep.
It's just like looking at reviews, man. You're going to check out the reviews before you buy something major, right? Or decide to work with someone.
Right.
Oh, yeah, this guy's doing a lot.
Yep.
Cool. Prove it. When you can do that, it really puts you in a good spot. And really, it's just what you should do to get credibility in this market.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
know, show people what you're doing, and it's to help people not to be a jerk.
Yep.
And brag.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely. Yep.
And talk about, so one of the things I wanted to talk about too, like the scaling thing, we just had this the other day.
Yeah.
But we need to utilize people's strengths and meet them where they're at.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. To build a team and to have the right people work with you. The other thing is, dude, pay them good.
Pay them good. Yep.
Why are you guys being selfish and paying people 10%? I can't see that crap.
Crazy.
Well, I'm providing the software. I'm dispoing. I don't effing care.
Right.
Don't pay someone 10%. I've been on the other end of that. No one appreciates it. They don't respect you, and they move on quick.
They're
if you want to
leave.
attract talent, you pay them good, and you pay them right. So that's one thing you do.
You talked about utilizing strengths. I wanted to hit on that a little bit because we got a little bit of a spanking that we deserved.
We did, dude.
And but we had a guy, and he's
phenomenal dude.
He's a veteran, right? Yeah. I mean, this guy, veteran. When I say veteran, I mean in the sales game. I mean, this guy is a sales guy
in the business
building game. He's sold several businesses. He's built several teams. He is just an absolute killer. In his older life, now he's retired, but now he's bored and he wants to do something awesome. And he wanted to join our team, right? And so we go in like a couple young bucks, and we say we want him calling agents and doing all this stuff, and then he got on a call with us and basically told us how it is a very respectful way,
very nice way,
but he basically told us, why would I go back to 1980 or whatever, cold calling, knocking on doors, when I could build a team, when I could do all this stuff, use his skills. And we're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's like having, that's like taking the best NFL player and saying, I think you should, quit that.
Why don't you hand out water?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to make sense. Yeah. I mean, you get this is where, I wanted to talk about meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
Now that's one guy that we work with. Now most people that come to us are not that guy. That's okay.
No.
That's
right.
Again, just meet them where they're at. This guy's experience is in scaling teams. It's in bringing on people. It's in managing them, and it's in overseeing and making sure everyone's like up to speed, happy with everything, and feeling respected.
Yeah.
So what do? We lean on him. We say, hey, build us a team.
Yeah.
I want you to manage it. I want you to control it.
Yep.
And I want your expertise because I respect you. I care about you.
Yep.
And I want to meet you where you're at.
So now he's got 7 agents making offers, 2 agents calling properties for him. He's not doing, he's helping them. He's managing them. He's locking up contracts. We're helping move them. I mean, it's
Dude,
way better than what
we could have said is, oh no, you need to be making the phone calls and do what everyone else, and you're going to lose them.
Yep.
Now, some people, we're going to meet them where they're so new, but they're happy to make the phone call.
Yeah.
Maybe they get on the phone and start the conversation or set an appointment. Meet them where they're at.
And they need to learn that, by the way.
They need to.
Because we've done it.
Dude, I had to go through that.
Yep.
I knocked on freaking doors.
Yeah.
So building out a team is about paying people well, making them see the vision that you have and everyone aligns with it, and meet them where they're at and utilize their strengths rather than forcing them to be something they're not. Right? Some people are going to be really good at taking the appointment, talking to the agent or the seller, and figuring out what we can do, following up on that.
Absolutely.
And automate the crap you don't want to do anymore and delegate it. You don't need to be texting all the agents you have. You have hundreds. Automate some of that. I'm sorry, there's automations out there, but if you're just following up, hey, do you have anything? Automate it out there. I recommend Astro Blaster. It's an incredible system. It works really good. And, the delegating thing is I need to be the person who is doing what I love and what I'm good at. For me, that's the branding. That's the teaching people how to do this and helping them through it. It's comping deals. It's dispo and following up on dispo, and it's networking.
But quit writing your own contracts and doing all that. Get a transaction coordinator.
Knock it off. Yeah.
Quit, following up with that stuff. Get a virtual assistant.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do that as time allows,
and be the manager on that, right?
Oversee
still be involved,
sure,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
There's a right and wrong way to do things, and you don't need to beat your head against the pavement.
Right.
You can do this in a way that's enjoyable.
Yep. And the minute you look down and you say, I don't have time to do this one thing anymore, that's when you need to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's when you need to move on with it. Yep.
And the thing is, I wanted to talk about this just real quick before we wrap up. Always, always, always share your wins and continuously inspire. And I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I want to really harp on it never ends. You don't stop sharing your wins and helping. You don't get to the 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month and say, F it, I'm done. I don't want to help anyone else. I don't want to share anymore. I don't need to. If you're not growing, you're contracting.
Yep.
Okay? Grant Cardone.
Yep.
And it's just the truth.
100%.
And you always have to be top of mind. You always have to be doing that. Marketing and branding never end. Okay? So, dude, I am thrilled that we got to actually get through all of that.
Yeah.
I'm excited that we got to go into the freaking nitty gritty. You got to hear me go nuts for a few minutes on a few topics there that I get heated on, but I really enjoy it.
Yep.
We always want to appreciate and thank everyone who's listening to us, following us, and supporting us. Man, support's so hard to come by when you're starting an entrepreneurship thing and you're getting into something people don't understand. So thank you to everyone that loves and supports us and continuously shows up for us emotionally. Yeah. And, I can thank my wife. I know you can. And a lot of my family members and close friends. Thank you for supporting me because this is a tough thing.
Yep. And if we're not connected yet, reach out.
If we're not connected yet, reach out. And here's how you can follow us. Facebook is going to be, our Instagram is going to be MC Fortune LLC. That's our handle. Zach Martin and Taylor Cobb, MC Fortune, is on YouTube. That's just starting out, but we're really going to scale that up. And then on Facebook, MC Fortune LLC. Follow us, like us, see our content, learn, grow. and we'll see you guys at the top.
Sounds good, man.